Hey guys, welcome back. It's WARDOGS, and today I want to talk about the new unit, the WARDOGS that just came out for this game. And it's basically a drone swarm unit that targets ground units and is strong against infantries. And the cost is the same, 10 Tiberium crystals, just like the riflemen or the drone swarm. So it's pretty much the same type of unit. It's just meant to counter infantry units. It's a very cheap unit to build. It's very fast. But you get to start with a war factory in the beginning if you want, and you don't necessarily have to bring in barrack units or the helipad opening. So this is meant for players that really want to utilize that war factory opening. I like that idea, but the only problem with this unit is that the DPS is just way too low. Even if I level this up to 7 or 8, the DPS might go up to maybe 50. I'm guessing 50 might go to 60, but you know, at level 6 and having a DPS level of 33 is just incredibly low. They can't handle any infantry units that have the name Missile Squad or Laser Squad. Like, I'm sure these units will be very good against Flame Troopers, or it'll be good against Riflemen or Shockwaves as well, but they'll be bad against Zone Troopers as well. So any infantry unit that does a lot of damage to vehicles, this unit cannot handle them at all. So the reason why I'm saying the WARDOGS are very inefficient to use is because even if you go with a war factory opening, there's a much better unit called the Rhino. Having a much higher DPS on the Rhino allows it to fight missile squads and laser squads by itself sometimes, and it can actually take out rifle squads on its own depending on who attacks the unit first, or depending on who attacks each other first. Or if you have 2 Rhinos, you can take down 1 missile squad, for example. But even 2 WARDOGS have a hard time taking down 1 missile squad. In fact, they can't because their DPS is too freaking low. Also, the Rhino provides vision up to 3 tiles away, just like the Rifleman, so you get good scouting information with the Rhino. So honestly, if you're gonna go with the War Factory opening, you should be using the Rhino and not the WARDOG. I honestly don't see any reason to use the WARDOGS right now, and I'll show you in a couple of replays here as to what I'm saying exactly, like why they're so weak, because they're supposed to be good against infantry units, but if they have such a hard time against missile squads and laser squads, I just don't see any benefit of using these guys over the Rhino. I know the Rhino costs 20 Tiberium crystals more, but at the end of the day, if your unit can't do what it's supposed to do, if this unit can't counter the missile squad or the laser squad to some point, I know the missile squads do counter the WARDOGS, but the Rhino, for example, can stand up on its own 2 missile squads and laser squads at times because they are a strong unit to infantry units, and missile squads are also infantry. So I mean, technically the WARDOGS should you know, have more DPS than just 33. The 33 definitely needs to be bumped up to a higher amount. So let me go ahead and show you guys a couple of replays now.
Establishing battlefield control.
Alright guys, so in this first match, you're gonna see basically my WARDOGS trying to handle my opponent's missile squads here. I go into a war factory opening because I love the Predator tank rush into the enemy harvester. First I wanted to scout what he's got with the WARDOGS, but as you guys can see, he has a slightly higher level than my WARDOG, level 7 versus level 6. But you can see the level 6 WARDOG just does not do almost any damage. Like, it barely, like, the missile squad is still at about 50% health, over 50%, and it's not even about the levels here. Like, I know he's got 1 level higher on his missile squad, but if that was a Rhino, the Rhino would actually almost take out that missile squad, even if the Rhino was at level 6. And look at that, I send out a second full health and even a third full health WARDOG on that 1 missile squad in that middle there that's already injured, and I can't take it down. 3 WARDOGS attacking the same missile squad over there could not kill even 1 missile squad. So this is what I'm saying, that the DPS is just way too low. The WARDOGS has a ton of health, which is great, but the DPS is just too low. And I can't even kill 1 missile squad with 3 WARDOGS. And that's what makes this unit so sad. And I'm gonna just skip this whole thing. My APCs also, you know, they're pretty much countered as well. I mean, they do a lot of, even the APCs do more damage to missile squads, but you know, like, I'm just trying to use my WARDOGS as much as I can here. With this army composition, I actually didn't bring any very strong anti-infantry units, except for my disruptor, but I couldn't build the disruptor yet because I didn't have a tech lab. As you guys can see, I focused that 1 missile trooper in on the top there with 2 WARDOGS, and he couldn't even take out that missile squad. This unit is just so awful. Okay, it's just so disappointing that like that's. I'm really disappointed in the Wardog. I mean, it's such a cool unit. It has so much potential, but it's just such a weak unit.
Establishing battlefield control.
Now in this replay, my opponent goes for scarabs, and it's those little bugs that blow up in your face when you walk into them, and you'll see what happens. So I go into a Predator tank to see if he's got a Harvester. Standard opening. Of course, I mean, I might as well start with the Predator tank as I bring the WARDOGS in. The WARDOGS are supposed to be an opening type for the War Factory, and I see that he's got scarabs, so I don't walk close up to it or they will blow up on my WARDOG and the WARDOG will die. So I bring my WARDOG down to his launch pad zone to see if he puts a scarab on there. See, if he walks his scarab around, I can actually attack the scarab. The weakness of the scarab is that while they're moving, they're vulnerable. As you guys can see, while the scarab is moving, I can take already half of his health with my tank there. So if I fire another shot, it will die. So the best way to deal scarabs is if you just leave your unit standing there, and then if he walks up to your unit with the scarab, your unit will attack and the scarab will die. So that's the best way to deal with scarabs. And that's exactly what I'm doing with my WARDOG on his launch pad zone, because I know he wants to get onto it at some point. And let's say that was a level 6 rifleman, or if that was a rhino. Even a level 6 rifleman will take out a level 7 scarab on its own by standing under. Now you'll see what happens. He moves the scarab down, okay? But look at the DPS, it's just so low that WARDOG can't even kill one scarab while it's moving, and the scarabs have very low hit point, and it's just disappointing. The WARDOG is just a very disappointing unit, because if that was a rhino or if that was a rifleman, it would kill us. It would kill the scarab. So instead, what I do in this game is basically I'm gonna pump out another WARDOG here, as you see, and I'm just gonna move it to that middle of the tile, so both scarabs will kill my WARDOGs. At this point, I'm just using the WARDOGs as a cannon fodder, so you know, I don't have to pump out expensive units to counter these guys, right? So in this way, I can kind of counter these guys that way. But as you guys saw, like, I mean, one WARDOG will still not kill a scarab on its own, unfortunately. So that's the thing. While a rifleman, when it's standing and the scarab is moving towards the rifleman will actually kill it. So once again, the problem with the WARDOG is the DPS. DPS of the WARDOG is just too low, and this is another example of why you guys should probably not use the WARDOG at this point.
Establishing battlefield control.
Alright guys, and this is going to be the final replay I'm going to show you of the WARDOG, and basically just showing you guys how weak it is. And this is going to be WARDOG versus laser squads. Laser squads basically being the same thing as missile squads, but I just wanted to show you this one because of course he's got laser squads instead, and also he uses some militants, and you'll see that the WARDOG is good against infantry units that don't do a lot of damage to vehicles. As you guys can see, the militant is clearly losing to the WARDOG. But then as soon as you pump out a unit that does some damage to vehicles like the missile squad or the laser squad, you're gonna suffer, okay? And you're really gonna get punished for using this WARDOG. Now, my opponent in this game, he's not microing his laser squad very well, but even if he's like, look at him, he's just running around with laser squad, and I barely do any damage to that laser squad. But if that was a rifleman, or if that was a drone swarm, it would have done so much more damage to the laser squad. Okay, and the only reason that laser squad dies is because it took so much damage running around. It takes damage from the Tiberium crystals, and it takes damage from, of course, not attacking my WARDOG, because this guy is doing a piss poor job of trying to micro his units, because he's not very good at this game, I think. But look at that laser squad. Okay, it was damaged by my first WARDOG, and my second WARDOG, which was at full health, that was attacking simultaneously on that laser squad, can't even kill it, and I've got to run away with my laser squad. I mean, sorry, not laser squad. I've got to run away with my WARDOG. And then I bring my other WARDOG to try to take out that weakened laser squad. But it's just sad, you know. There's just seeing these poor WARDOGs that don't do any damage at all. I gotta use disruptors, because my disruptors in this army composition was the only way to deal with his infantry. So yeah, I mean, I don't recommend use the WARDOGs. You might as well use the rhinos, like I said, if you really want to go for a war factory opening and you want a solid counter to infantry units, including missile squads and laser squads. Yeah, just go with rhinos, or, I mean, I'm just gonna skip this now. I mean, pretty much, that was kind of what I wanted to show you. It was the beginning of the game, beginning of that match. I wanted to show you guys the Warhound there. Just not doing a very good job at taking down laser squads. You know, you guys just saw how little damage they do. And even on militants, they don't do a lot of damage to militants. It takes quite a lot of time for them to take them out. So, I mean, they've got a lot of health, and they're very tanky. 2,200 health, that's quite a bit of health. So, you know, WARDOGS are tanky. It's a very tanky unit for its cost, like 10 Tiberium crystals. But at the end of the day, if your DPS is not high, you're going to lose out. So, my opinion on this unit is pretty bad right now. I don't recommend you guys use the WARDOGS unless you really want to, and maybe in the future there might be a strategy that would work with them. But unless they buff this unit, just stay away from it. Use the Rhino or use the Rifleman or the Drone Swarms. Those three are probably the better units to use as anti-infantry counters. Anyways, thanks for watching this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Remember to leave a comment, thumbs up, and subscribe if you still haven't. And I'll come back with some more awesome CNC Rivals videos, and I'll see you guys next time.